Hello, and welcome to another Saturday food support group. We have these Zoom meetings every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I just invite people to come and to share their stories because I've had so many people reach out to me in private messages and tell me their stories. And I just couldn't keep it for myself. I had to share with you all of the beautiful things that are happening when people break their addiction to sugar and carbs and processed food. And they get their brains back, they get their bodies back, they get their lives back. And they're just so excited that they can't wait to tell. And so I informed everyone that I would be recording these meetings, and I encouraged them that if they wanted to remain anonymous, that they can turn the camera off. But a lot of people they want to share. They want to share what has happened to them, and they're so excited about their new life. And then I also open it up for questions. If people are still struggling and they're still on this journey, that they can come and ask questions. But if you need more individualized care than just in a group like this, feel free to email me at innerclaritysystem@gmail.com, and I'll walk you through what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. All right, thanks. I hope you enjoy the group. Hello, happy Saturday. We're here for another Saturday food support group, and all we do is just get together and talk about food and talk about our experience with food, good, bad, and the ugly. So this morning, Jackie is going to start us off and tell us an update on some stuff that she's been going through. Go ahead, Jackie.
Hi, thanks, Emily. I just wanted to say that, I'm a 2.5-year carnivore, and one that has for pretty much the whole time, eat to satiety, eat as much meat as I want, not tracking anything, or, really just as long as it was carnivore, that was my plan, and doing really well. I lost 50 pounds-ish, and then some.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
After last fall, I would say a year ago now, I was down the 50 pounds, but I gained slowly 8 pounds back. And I wasn't doing one single thing different. I am not kidding. I was eating exactly the same way that I've always eaten. So I was perplexed, and a couple other friends had the same problem. So I'm like searching.
I did too.
Yeah, trying different things. Like from March 21st to 60 days after that, I did beef, water, salt. Maybe that's the key. Beef, water, salt. No. I actually gained at least I would say a pound or so, but I was really frustrated because, it's not that weight loss is the thing, but I still have a lot of fat on my abdomen, and that was not going anywhere. And my clothes were actually a little tighter, and certain things that I couldn't wear that I could wear last July. So, never give up. Just it's information you're learning. Okay, this isn't it, but I'm close. Sorry, my dog likes to play with her toy. No, not yet. She's got a lion. Sorry, you have to play later. So anyway, I watched the video, Emily, where you and Amy talked about tracking your macros and doing this higher fat version of carnivore. And I was intrigued because I love fat and I could eat a lot more of it, but I've been just like, middle of the line with it. So I actually was on vacation. I went to KetoCon in Texas, and Emily says, get a Keto Mojo. That does both glucose and, oh shoot, I didn't take my measurement this morning, and I always take it before I eat. I just ate. Okay. Bad Jackie. Anyway, I'm on an accountability group. We're sharing our readings with each other for 10 days or whatever.
Awesome. You're sharing your Dr. Boz ratio?
Yeah. Well, they don't do Dr. Boz, this group, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Anyway, darn it, I didn't take my readings. I usually do that first. But man, that meal was good. So anyway, I was on vacation, and I am talking with Emily, and she actually says, dude, let's just, do a Zoom call and we'll talk about it. And she guided me through how to do this, this high fat, I didn't understand the Dr. Boz thing. And I had gone and saw Dr. Boz present at KetoCon. She was fabulous, but I don't understand the scores. I just wanted to know what I should do. So thank you, Emily. I so appreciate your helping me then. So I actually feel like my clothes are looser and I was losing weight, but you know how when you're on vacation, you can't really use your scale and measure and you don't know. And then the very next week, I went to the Northeast meetup by the carnivore doctor, and lo and behold, she's doing a kind of higher fat thing that she's been kind of working with the last month, I think, and with success. I mean, wow, she's eating mini meals, smaller meals, and higher fat, lower protein. Like we have been overeating the protein, which I guess it turns into, with gluconeogenesis, it turns into sugar. So boom, it's hitting your glucose and you're not losing weight. So yes. I've been doing this where I eat roughly 20 grams of protein a meal and 80 or 20% protein, 80% fat per meal, and usually 3 meals a day for me. And they're smaller meals, like under 20 grams of protein, roughly around there, each meal. So basically you have a meal, like I just had one now, and I go at least 2 hours before I have another meal. And then I'll do it again and again. And then I'm losing weight. Wow, what's happening here? I can't believe this is happening. And I get to have all this fat. So I've been making the brown butter.
Yes.
Because you can have the cute little brown butter. I'll show everybody what those look like. But you can measure these down to the gram on your gram scale. So I make sure I'm getting enough fat. By the way, you need a lot of these. But since I was in Texas, I bought a little Texas mold.
I love it.
And those are kind of big. Like those are a lot of grams. But sometimes I'm, convinced that eventually I'll just be able to do this intuitively. But for now, I'm measuring because I want to get it right. So I also got these little, look how thin that is. When I want to get it to the gram to make it 80-20 ratio.
Wow.
Right? So I can like have one of these and 2 of those or whatever. Anyway, to the amount of, as long as, I'm measuring, I can do that. And I think eventually I'll know just kind of how to eat.
And are you surprised at how easy it was to transition into lower protein?
Yes. The thing is, I'm used to eating a pound per meal. And now I just ate 2.5 ounces of ground beef made into it's kind of like a little meatball. And I had an egg and I had butter. That's it. Now I am not hungry. I staved off the hunger pang feeling. That's gone. And I could probably go, well, yesterday I went like 5 hours because I was running around and busy. But I was amazed. I didn't even think about, I could eat for 5 hours yesterday. Normally I probably would have eaten in 4 hours or 3+ hours, roughly. I don't know about everybody else, but that would be normal.
What Amy and I are discovering through this whole process as we tell our clients about this is that what it is that they're switching fuels. And we thought we were in ketosis because we were carnivores, and all carnivores are in ketosis, right?
I was not. I
Me
still
neither.
Am not in ketosis, but the other night my husband makes homemade beef jerky. And I had 3 of those the night before. So no ketosis the next morning. So I know, okay, that's just teaching me what if I want to keep going because I'm trying to get to where I want to be, then I have to knock out the beef jerkies for now because they're pretty high in protein. So they're messing up my ratio. It's really hard to know what they contain because it's carne asada that's been dehydrated, basically.
Exactly. And so you're switching that fuel source whenever you increase your ketones. then that's what your body, your brain, your body is fueling on. Go ahead, Amy.
As a tip, if you still want to eat the beef jerky, scoop butter with it.
That's what Lisa said.
Yep, the fat will kind of help buffer it a little bit. I can have like 3 ounces of dehydrated New York strip, and then I dip it in butter, and then no out of ketosis. So that might be a tip. You could eat, some of your meatballs in,
That's
exactly jerky in place.
Dr. Lisa said. She's the carnivore doctor, and I was like, that knocked me down further away from ketosis. And she goes, just add butter, dip it in, So I'm like, okay, because I still wanted to have my beef jerky snack plate. I don't think snacking is so bad as long as you get that ratio right and you don't go way crazy, over the top with amounts of food. It's just a little meal, and you can have a little mini meal, like Lisa calls them, multiple times. And it doesn't matter really how many, but as long as you don't, I would say I don't go over what my TDEE is or whatever ratio that they figure out. I'm not even worrying about that really right now, but 3 meals is good, plus a beef jerky. Has been what I want, because then I'm like, okay, I have my little snacky after,
And what I love is that you get that immediate feedback whenever you test your numbers in the morning, and they say all the time, don't guess, test. And so you really know, and you get that immediate feedback. Oh, I had this last night, and this morning I don't have the ketones. And so I have been always against chasing numbers, but now I'm seeing that there's so much freedom in having those numbers. It's like when you're bowling and you have the bumpers on the lanes, it's like it keeps you in the lane where you can, have some wiggle room, and that you're going to stay in that mode of healing. So Jackie and Tom, I would love for you guys to tell us what the meetup was like in New Jersey. Tom, number one, thank you so much that you were in that meetup, and you had 80 carnivores around you. And what did you think about? You thought about us. That meant so much to me that you dialed in and you came into the Zoom meeting, and we got to talk to Kelly and Dr. Lisa, and that meant so much to me. So go ahead, tell me about the meetup.
Yeah, it was amazing. Of course, I got to meet Jackie up close and personal. She is the sweetest. She was busy all the time helping Dr. Lisa do everything, and she was taking pictures like crazy. And I felt bad because I meant to go over to Jackie to say, hey, guess whose session I'm on? I've got the carnivore angel on, and Emily's on, but I told her afterwards. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But it was amazing to be around. Everybody there obviously is in the same boat. They all have come from different background issues. Everybody has different issues, either mentally, physically. Mine were physical, of course, although my wife would say mental sometimes, but who knows?
And I did get to see you. You stood up and gave and shared your story in front of the whole group. Dr. Lisa on at Carnivore Doctor on Instagram, she had a live, and you were on there, and my heart was just like, I was so proud of you. It was so awesome.
Yeah, it was interesting. I could have been talking for another 10 minutes if, because there's so many things that I could have mentioned that have been corrected just in such a short time. And I see you got some new people on here, and I don't want to go over the history, but 55 pounds so far. I have like 3 or 4 skin tags, the insulin skin tags that you get. Those are almost gone. I don't have the Dunlap disease anymore. It's no longer going over my belt buckle, and I still got some ways to go. But I did, and I was talking to her. I have hit a wall, and I actually think that I'm in that point now where I need to start doing the fat ratio thing. And I've been watching Amy a lot on her channel, and so I just think that could be a way for me to go. I've been meaning to get the Keto Mojo, so thank you for reminding me, Jackie, that I need to get that. And I will order it as soon as we're done. But
KetoMojo.com.
Got it. So just being around other carnivores was huge, and the food was crazy good, right, Jackie? It was like amazing. So, and they literally every piece, there was like this much meat left at the end. It was funny. I mean, literally that much meat. And there was 100 and something people there, and that's how accurately Lisa got it.
Wow, I didn't realize there were that many people there.
It was like 107 or something like that. Was somewhere in that area. So, but I was fanboying a lot. I had with Kelly Hogan and Dr. Flitz. It was so that was a lot of fun. He's a trip. If you ever get to talk to him in person, he is a trip. Such energy he has, crazy. But that's pretty much it. I did want to mention one thing. You know how the sunscreen stuff you don't want to do as a carnivore? Well, last night when I went to walk my dogs, I sprayed my off all over my body, and I'm rubbing it on my arms. So when I got back from the walk, I was broken out in a rash all over. It had never happened to me before. Off spray, and I've been using that for my whole life. And so I don't know if that's carnivore thing or what, but just wanted to say I had an allergic reaction to off last night. That was weird. So
wow. Well, I've noticed that as I clean my body out and I am detoxing, and now I'm more aware of the things that really cause me a problem. And it's like, why didn't I have a problem before? But before I was just chocked full of toxins. And so it was just normal to me.
Yeah, that is true. But Monday I have my cardiac follow up with the cardiac doctor that I'm probably going to fire because I found a low carb cardiac doctor that's in Arlington, Virginia. And so I made an appointment. Of course, I had to wait 2 months to get to see him, but he's well known low carb cardiac doctor. So I'm going to go Monday, and my wife's going to go with me, and she's going to say, oh yeah, you're going to, you got to stay on those statins, and I just as soon as I went back on statins after I talked to you that one time, I noticed my mental clarity going down. So I really, really want to get off of them because, so everybody knows I have a really high CT calcium score that I'm working to reverse. And that's my goal. So I've only been doing this since February, and I've stayed on, I have not, well, I don't want to say I haven't had a drink. I've had maybe just a couple ounces of alcohol, but hardly any. But I've been, no vegetables, no starch, almost no carb, pretty much zero carbs the entire time. And so I just think that I'm going to reverse it. If it's not too late, I'm going to reverse it. So I hope it's not too late. I want to keep seeing you for a couple more, for as long as possible. So
yes, absolutely. So Jackie, you want to weigh in on your experience with the meetup? And then if anybody else has anything that they want to ask a question about, or if you want to share your testimony, just raise your hand in the meeting. Go ahead, Jackie.
Sure. I was so happy to meet Tom there. I was like, oh my gosh, because there's Kelly Hogan, there's Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, who's the carnivore doctor. Then there was Dr. Kiltz, and Kelly and Lisa, I'm in groups with each of them. So I know people from this group, from that group, but I'm kind of new coming onto your group, Emily, but I love coming on, but it's just, I forget, and it's 9 a.m. my time. I'm on the Pacific Coast. And so when Tom goes, I'm from Emily's group, remember? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So somebody from every group. And it was the first time I ever met Dr. Kiltz, and oh my gosh, that man has energy like you would not believe. Like, whoa, it's impressive. I've never met anyone so on all the time. And I was impressed with the things that he said, but there's some things that I have questions about. So I was just very direct with him, because his thing is you can have ice cream from time to time and it won't hurt anything. But me being, I think, a carb addict, I don't think I should or can ever. And it's been 2.5 years, and I don't want to turn on those cravings ever again. I really don't want to go back there because it could be super detrimental. But great if other people can do that. I think everybody's different, and it was a wonderful event. I think, this is Lisa. didn't she say, Tom, it was like her 19th meetup, whether she had attended or put on, but
she was kind of hinting, that she was thinking about whether she's going to keep doing it like next year. And of course, everybody's like, you got to do it again. You got to do it again. So,
yeah. So she's got, 3 big ones under her belt where I feel, lots of people. There was so many people there, and you get to meet people that you have been talking to for so long on the internet, and it's, you know them. I mean, sometimes better than people in your real life, right? That's how it feels anyway, because you get into these conversations with some of them, and it's like, we're friends. It's a real thing. Sure, it's through the internet, but it's just as real, and it's so great to finally meet someone in person. And we also, I don't think you did the yoga, Tom, but Anna Fogg, who was from one of Kelly's groups, she's a yoga instructor. So we did yoga on the beach. We played pickleball. Karen Miles, the little dynamo that she is, she organized a pre-meetup at a, what do they call it? A rodizio, where they slice the meat and they come around.
Oh, yeah.
What is that called? Anyway.
Brazilian steakhouse. But don't forget me next year if you do that, because I was jealous that you had that. So.
Oh, that was so wonderful. But, it's hard because I know you from this group or that, and we put it out on, I think Karen put it out on every Mighty Networks, on all the things that she's on. And still there was people, I didn't know about it. It's always really disappointing to me that we miss some people, but we put it out. Anyway, that was wonderful. The pickleball, we just did all kinds of things besides the meetup itself, but it was the meetup that was like the grand event, and the food was really good. I actually got Emily there. I got to the front where you get to serve, and there were 2 platters, and then there was a ribeye steak platter. It was completely empty. And I'm like, oh, so you have to wait while they bring more to fill it up. But there was this big hunk of fat that nobody touched. And I'm like, that's mine. And I'm all of that. It was so delicious. So good.
The funny thing was he was cutting off the meat, the fat and the meat. And everybody goes, no, don't cut the fat off the meat. It was funny.
Yeah. They hadn't dealt with us carnivores before. But the other thing was that I brought, and I had it in the cooler, a whole lot of butter with me. And I just want to show you this amazing butter.
That butter was good. I'm trying to find it online.
This is the butter. Oh my gosh. It's French butter. And this was we got it at
salt crystals.
It has sea salt crystals, and it actually makes it taste almost sweet. It's so good.
Wow.
I brought a big, like a quarter of this to the meetup and shared it with other people. I'm like, that looks like a lot of protein, so I'm going to add some butter to it. And I did, and it was delicious, just delicious. But yeah, this is Payson Breton. Anyway, this is such a big deal. We bought out 2 stores worth of it, and they didn't have any more. So my thing is to see if we even carry it here where I live on the West Coast, because who knows, may not ever get
awesome.
until I go back east. I don't know. But yeah, it was a wonderful event. Lisa does such a fabulous job. And the whole time that we were there, I did this boot camp with Lisa, where she had 3 of us who have been in her groups, her coaching groups, come and learn her way in person. And amazing. I not only learned about how to eat the way she does, but also how to think about things, which has been a big key factor. I'm not the little victim anymore. And just because I don't know how to use that app doesn't mean I can't learn how to use that app or whatever it is. So
I love that.
So many times it's like, well, I'll get my husband to do it because I don't want to work my brain. But
or like, we did that together. We got on the Zoom and we literally opened the box of your Keto Mojo. And
Yeah.
we were like, when we troubleshooted it, you know, we figured out here's the on button, here's how you open this, here's how you do this. And we walked through it. So I
Yes.
really like that what Dr. Lisa is doing is similar to what we're doing. And I see that as confirmation. I really do. That there's more to go beyond carnivore, beyond just eating piles of meat. Go ahead, Tom.
There's another person there that you may know. His name's Bruno.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah.
the video
Gucci.
about him and all
Yeah.
the pictures.
Yeah.
Yes, Zero Carb Health and Fitness is his YouTube
Yeah.
channel. It's excellent. I've been in the groups with Kelly. He was in my Kelly group. That's how I knew him since the beginning of the year. And he has a really great YouTube channel called Zero Carb Health and Fitness. And all the videos are 15 minutes or less.
Nice.
So you can fit.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Very
Yeah, really nice guy.
Very smart too.
Yeah.
And he's lost a lot of weight doing carnivore. He's done different experiments like the lion diet and so on. So
Yeah.
great guy.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, because I think that what we do here every Saturday is so important. And what Amy does on her Mighty Networks in her groups is so important, because we're so alone. We're so alone on this journey in our real life. But the fact that you guys got to have that unique experience, because not all of us can travel to New Jersey and go to a meetup like that. But I love that you guys got to do that and got to really get those hugs and feel that vibe through that thing. So thank you guys so much for sharing that with us.
Emily, I'm going to get my keto mojo now because I didn't do that. But.
Okay. That's so funny. I'm the same way. I'm a very routine person and I like to do it first thing in the morning. Is there anybody that wants, I know Emily, you were saying that you wanted to give us an update. Is there anybody else in the group that wants to either ask a question or to give us your testimony on this way of eating? It says Moto, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Can you unmute?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys. Yeah, I just downloaded Zoom like 10 seconds before I logged in. And because I was like, hey, Emily, first of all, thanks for putting these together. I've actually been watching you on Instagram for a while now, and I keep meaning every Saturday to log in, and all of a sudden something's going on. I'm like, oh, I missed it again. So
what's your name?
My name's Davey. So I'm Davey Brooke. You can find me on Instagram at offroad carnivore.
Okay.
Yeah. And long story short, I've been doing carnivore for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in October. Okay. And I came from like a paleo. So long term, right? So I came from a paleo primal background. And I just love seeing what everyone's doing and that people are getting on board with this and that people are healing, because like my background is that so long story short, I'm 39. I'll be 40 in just a few more months, right? And what's funny is that I came from the sad way of eating back in college. Like this was like 20 years ago, right? I got overweight. I was like 300 pounds. So like my statistics today are that I'm 6'1", I'm 193 pounds. Okay, so that's a huge change.
Yeah.
Right. And what's funny is that someone who I knew turned me on to paleo and primal, especially Mark Sisson's situation, probably about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And I lost a bunch of weight. I got down to about 230. I was pretty happy about that, right? I mean, that's a big change. And then all of a sudden, someone was like, "Hey, why don't you try carnivore?" And I was like, "That's the craziest thing I've ever heard."
Yeah.
You're gonna die. What are you gonna do about fiber? All the usual questions, right? What about vitamin C? Just everything you always hear. And so I ended up trying that. And I think at the time I was about 220. And it just, all the inflammation and quite a bit of extra fat came off. And it's been like a lifesaver, literally rejuvenated my life. Like I'm a blue collar worker. So like I always have my steel toe boots on, I'm working every day, like 11, 12 hours. So like I would wake up in my early 30s and my body was so inflamed. I'd have to get help getting my boots and my pants on. Okay.
Oh.
Like Yeah, it was crazy. And now
in your 30s?
Yes, yeah, like my early 30s, my body was breaking down, but that was everybody I knew was the
Yeah.
same way. Everyone was living on like a bottle of Advil, horrible situation. And now I don't ever take painkillers. I wake up, I jump up in the morning. I don't have any bodily inflammation. It is like stuff out of like a miracle. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's my experience. So I'm just over here in the Texas Hill Country. I live between San Antonio and Austin over here in Bernie. You guys are familiar with that. I didn't go to KetoCon. I should have, but I was working this year. So I'm going to try to go next year.
I'm wearing my Demolition Ranch shirt from Bernie.
Awesome.
Texas. Dr.
Oh,
Matt.
sweet, dude. Yeah, dude. Hey, yo, I was like watching y'all talk about Texas and little Texas molds. I was like, yes, Texas, man. It's awesome here. But that's awesome, dude. Yeah. But yeah, so I just wanted to log in this morning and see what's going on with y'all. And anyways, glad to be here and thanks for having me. So
I gotta ask you while you're here though.
Totally.
What do you eat?
Okay, so come with me. Let's go look at the fridge.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. We get a tour.
Absolutely, right? So, okay. So I'm never shooting for perfection, guys. And here's why. I'm not a perfect person. Okay, I try to do my best, which means that I do fail. And when I do fail, I try to like at least, you know, if I'm on Instagram, I try to tell people about it because, you know, I think a lot of people get really wrapped up. This is sort of off topic, but I think a lot of people get really wrapped up in like, you know, this illusion that we're perfect when we do this. We're not perfect. We're all human beings. We make mistakes. But one of the biggest things, for at least for me, is to recognize those things. Say, okay, I did it, own up to it, and then try to like reverse course out of it, right? Do better next time. So let me see if I can flip this.
Or to learn from it. Like I see it now as, ooh, I'm so glad I failed because now I'm going to learn something new. Okay,
so
what do we got
here? So here's our butter, right? So I got Kerrygold, which might not be the greatest thing ever, but I got my goat butter. I love this stuff.
Wow.
I've got Evian. Okay, here you go. Here's a ranch water. This is alcohol. So don't judge me, but here we go. I've got a ton of eggs. I've got liver. I've got brie. I've got chèvre, goat cheese. I've got ground beef. And here's something. So like pineapple. So let's talk about this. So I was very, very, very much super strict carnivore for the longest time, right? And I would get in these huge debates with people about honey and all kinds of things, right? And it's not that I'm pro any of this stuff, right? Because like zero carb has really changed my life. But I will say this, I at first when Saladino started going almost back towards like a paleo primal situation, at first I was like, the guy's lost his mind. Okay, here he was on the path, on the journey, getting towards heaven, and now he's like derailed going to hell. And you know what's funny is that I've actually been trying, because like, all of this is what like an N=1 experiment. I've been listening to some of y'all talk earlier, and you guys were talking about how like, you know, you're trying different things. And so I've been trying kind of a little bit of what Saladino's been doing, and I'm trying to see where that leads. And you know, it may be that I go back and that pineapple and some other stuff doesn't ever exist again in that fridge. But I'm just trying to, you know, check it out and see where things go. But I don't know. But anyways, that's my fridge.
And you don't know until you do try. And sometimes what I have found is whenever I get that obsessive thought of, I wonder if I can have pineapples. I wonder if I could tolerate pineapples. I wonder if I could do something with pineapples and cream, or I wonder if I could mix pineapples with cream cheese. And I just get obsessed about the pineapples. And then I have to try it, have either the success or the negative reaction. And then I can cease those obsessive thoughts. And I can just like, okay, pineapples don't work for me. Or pineapples do work for me, you know? So how long have you been experimenting with pineapples?
So this will be about a month and a half now.
Okay.
And so I'm having so when I make burger patties, for example, I don't ever do it with, so I'd say my typical week is this. Okay. So I'm probably eating steak 3 to 4 times a week, and then ground beef. Okay. Usually with like a little bit of brie, and a lot of eggs. Okay. Usually eggs for every meal. And so when I do the burger patties, I might put like about half to 1 slice per burger patty on there. And so what you saw with that, you know, that tray of pineapple slices, right? I might have half of that in a week. So far, you know, I haven't seen anything terrible. I feel really good. But there is a mental component. Somebody was talking about that earlier. I think might have been Shelley. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, but
It's okay.
One of the things I absolutely agree is that something that we're all battling through is carb and maybe even sugar addiction at the end of the day. If we've wrecked ourselves metabolically,
Yes.
Right, it's huge. And I absolutely believe that if you're an abstainer, if you need to be an abstainer, you should be an abstainer. If you're able to handle moderation, well, then you're a moderator. But I've talked to a lot of people in the carnivore community who will try some different things, and maybe they're not having a big like bodily reaction as far as like breaking out or inflammation, but all of a sudden it wrecks their ability to stay on track. And honestly, there is freedom sometimes, I think, in restriction, especially if it keeps you on track. And so what Saladino, for example, is doing, I don't think is for everybody, obviously. There are some people that are highly sensitive to this stuff and they can never go back, and they shouldn't. But at least for me now, it's working. But I don't know. We'll see if I really feel like I need it. I'm going to keep going probably for another month and then stop doing it and see what I feel. So there you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us and giving us a tour. And I commend you for having a clean refrigerator. Like nobody else that I know could like on the spur of the moment give a refrigerator tour.
I just moved in here like a month ago. So there you go.
That makes sense. Cool. That makes sense.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Yeah.
Well, Davey, it is so awesome to have you here. And thank you so much for for watching and for following. And thanks for jumping in. I always want to challenge other carnivores who've been doing this, and it's a piece of cake steak for them. And to share your story, and to encourage other people. So thanks for being here, Davey.
Yeah, thank you.
Emily, you wanted to give us an update on your week. I would love to hear about it.
Thank you. So last week we were talking about the roadmap that Amy brought up. And so I made like some daily affirmations and put them up in my mirror. Basically, and it's hard for me because like I value honesty almost to like a little bit too extreme, perhaps. Like I'll share maybe details I don't even need to share just to be like super honest.
Full disclosure. Yeah,
exactly. Like that's just my personality. And so reading the words, it was really hard to read them because I didn't truly believe them yet. So that was hard, but I accepted the challenge. So reading things, for example, like I love myself more than the junk food. That was hard to read because in my head, I'm like, I'm an addict. I love this stuff more clearly, or else I wouldn't be eating this way and destroying my body, right? So it was hard for me, but I did it every day, which is good. And I also, I was tempted to bring the scale back out, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do it because I can get a little bit obsessed with weighing in. And so I was like, you know what? I don't even need to do that because I can tell how things are fitting. I know whether like which direction I'm going. I don't need that number. And that number is more likely to throw me off and make things worse than make things better. So I stuck with that. So I'm really happy with that. And I focused on things like trying to get enough sleep, doing daily movement, like 10 minutes in the morning, reading my inspirational morning read to just sort of like help me try and focus on positive things. So although my nature would be to say, well, because I didn't conform to a ideal way of eating this past week, it was a failure. I decided to try and shift my mindset and focus on all the things that I did do well. So that to me was a victory. So I'm very happy with that progress because that alone was improvement from the week before.
And you're building that foundation.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm still sort of like on the fence about the whole, and people are probably sick of me saying this, the whole like cold turkey versus slow cutback, because I'm still like torn in my like, you know, conscience, because I know that there's no one right way. Like for some people, cold turkey is a must, and for other people, a cutback is a must. So I've been sort of just reaching out to people and finding out like, what did you do? How did that go for you? But I'm still like, you know what? I'm still on the fence. I still don't really know where I'm at with that. But at least I did all these other things to try and work on my foundation, to get a little bit stronger, a little more positive, pick myself back up. And so I don't have to have all the answers right now. And I'm fine with that. I mean, I wish I had the answer, but I know I'll get there, and I'll get that answer eventually. But for now, I'm just focusing on, sorry about all the noise. I'm on lifeguard duty at the pool.
You're fine.
So yeah, but anyways, so yeah, that's how my week was. And I really, really appreciate all the support, and hearing other people share their stories. And like the community is just amazing, like on Instagram. And in these, you know, I'm in this group. I'm also in another two other small groups on Amy's, as well as another heart carnivore one with Claire. Yes. So I just feel like having that community is so important. And I really appreciate hearing everyone's stories and just cheering each other on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for your transparency. And that's one thing that I really do love about your Instagram, is how just transparent you are and how real you are. And I really think that so many people will learn and be inspired through your story. Thank you. So for the last 10 minutes, I just wanted to update you guys and let you know, I know that Amy and I have been talking about this workshop that we're doing, and it is coming together. And I was a little bit excited about it at the beginning, but it is like a snowball, and I am stupid excited about this now. It is just phenomenal. And I have seen and heard so many people that have really been able to, like Jackie's story, people who, you know, I've been a part of their journey for a long time. And now, hi, Karen. And now they have come to this huge stall, and didn't have the answers. And then I give them this little tweak, this tiny little change, and it's unlocking things in them. And it's so exciting to me. And so Amy and I are going to be rolling out this week the registration for the upcoming workshop. The workshop is going to be the very first week of August. And so you should have plenty of time. And if you're watching this recording, I don't know when this recording is actually going to go up, so it might be after that, but don't be upset. You can still register, and you will still just reach out to Amy or reach out to me, and we will figure out a way to either give you the replay, or maybe Amy, I don't know, if enough people want to do this, maybe we'll do it again. You know, I have no idea. So we're just going to stumble through the first one and see what happens. But Amy, do you want to talk a little bit about what we're doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I have a freeze dryer and an industrial sized fan in the room behind me, but it's like 90 degrees outside, so I had to come in.
It is hot outside.
Y'all, I am amazed at the amount of people who have trusted carnivore and have switched over and made incredible leaps and bounds in their health. And yet it wasn't enough. It's not what they were promised. It's not what they were hoping for. It wasn't 100%. And in this low carb space, we all see carnivore as the epitome, like the tippy top of this is college. We want to get to carnivore because that is the best. And then when we get there and it's not Mount Everest, it's like, you know, the 1,000-foot hill behind us. I mean, you could go up to like 10,000-foot hill, but still, it's not enough for some people. So Emily and I have been on this journey for almost 4 years for both of us, and we've found our own battles and climbed our own mountains. And every time you get up to the top, it's like you look out and there's another one, and there's another one. And carnivore, we're supposed to be the last one. So we get up to the top and we're like, what now? Well, guess what? We're going to take you guys beyond carnivore. There's a little bit more. And sometimes there's a lot more. And it's figuring out for you personally what is going to take you beyond the tippy top of your mountain. We're going to give you wings and we're going to watch you guys soar, because we want you to get your full healing, whether it be mental or physical. We don't care. We want you to get your ultimate goal. So we're going to do everything that we can to give you the tools to go in the way that you need to go. I want us all to meet on this peak, on this mountaintop, and I want to watch everybody take off in their own direction to find their own little paradise. So we're going to be talking about ways to tweak your macros, and we are going to be talking about mental aspects from this. We're going to be talking about the science behind this to say it's okay. It's safe to do this, and let me tell you why. So there's just so much stuff. We're getting super excited about it, and we're in contact every day talking more about it, and every revelation that we get ourselves, we're making sure that we're going to share that with you.
Absolutely. And, I think one of the things that I really love about the way that Amy works and the way that I work is, number one, we give our all. There's not ever going to be a moment that we're just like, okay, here's your handout, and, do A, B, and C, and have a good day. No, we are going to go into the trenches with you because we are pure scientists at heart, and we want to see the end results. We want to see you thrive. And it just doesn't serve me to just give you information and say, go figure it out. Like, we want to help you. If what you are learning is something that you cannot apply, then we want to be there with you. And that's why we're creating this group with not only here, but with the Mighty Networks. And then for the event, for the workshop, we're going to have a pop-up Facebook group, and it's just going to be for 2 weeks. And so we will be able to really give you hands-on attention to answer your questions. And that's what's going to happen in the workshop too. Amy and I are going to present for an hour, and then we are going to have live Q&A for 30 minutes every single day of the workshop. And it's going to be 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but it's 5 days total, because we're going to be on that Facebook group answering your questions in the trenches. So we're calling it a 5-day event, but we're going to be meeting on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you can't make it to the live event, we get it. And you will be given the recording of those events. But it'll be great to be there live, because then you can ask the questions and you can get that answer. So anyway, we're excited about it. And I really have no idea what it's going to look like. I have no idea if we're going to do it again in the future. But it is such a passion in our hearts that Amy and I know without a shadow of a doubt that we have to do this. We have to do this, because we're inundated with questions about lowering your protein and increasing your fat, and watching your numbers of your blood glucose and your ketones. And it sounds really simple, but it's not, because everybody is different. So we want to help. Go ahead, Tom.
Are you going to call this Beyond Carnivore?
We are.
Okay.
Isn't that brilliant?
That's a good name. Good job.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, I actually, as soon as Amy and I, we were talking about this, and we heard Beyond Carnivore, we both were like, yes, that's what it is. That's what it is.
And my daughter came up with the logo. She took Emily's image and she took my image and she blended the two. And it is phenomenal. So I cannot wait until y'all get to see the Beyond Carnivore logo. And like every little detail of this has been a family affair. And just, it's been so incredible to watch. I'm so excited to share with you guys.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So thank you guys so much. I believe that, you know, if Amy hadn't had her network of people and Mighty Networks, if I hadn't had my network of people in these support groups, we never would have been inspired to continue, because we would have, Amy and I would have thought, if we didn't talk to anybody else, we would have thought that we were the only people that carnivore didn't work for. We would have thought that, oh, well, we're doing it wrong or something. But because of the feedback that we're getting from you guys, we're like, hey, I'm seeing a pattern. There's all these people that are eating piles of meat and they are getting worse, or they are not getting better. And I thought it was just me and Amy, and it's not. And so we're so excited to be able to be in the trenches with you guys and to help you troubleshoot and solve these problems. Go ahead, Jackie.
Just a quick question. How long have you and Amy been doing this higher fat version?
6 weeks.
Yeah, it was right after. No, it was just before I went to go see her in Pella, Iowa, which was.
It was right
beginning
after
of
your
June.
interview, like literally the day after you recorded your interview with Dr. Boz.
Yeah, so I'll have to go back and look, but yeah, it's been like 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, I would say 6 or 7 weeks.
Okay.
And it's been a game changer for me. My energy had completely tanked in April, was whenever it happened to me. And I literally was struggling. Like, I would have a session with a client and I would go take a nap. I would have a session with a client and I would go take a nap. I would have a session with a client. Like, I'm not kidding you guys, like 3 naps a day. It was ridiculous. And I had been superhuman before. So I couldn't figure out what was wrong until I started testing my blood glucose and realized it was 110, 119, 100. Like, I had this high blood glucose and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out why. I was eating too much protein. I lowered the protein, which automatically increased the fat ratio. And it took a while. It took a good month, but I am back. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm definitely back to getting the air back in my lungs and getting the inspiration and being able to do this. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Go ahead, Amy. Was there something else you wanted to add?
Nope.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great Saturday. I absolutely love these conversations with you, and I will see you next week. Be looking on @Carnivore Minds and @Carnivore's Angel on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, go get on Instagram at @Carnivore Minds and @Carnivore's Angel, and we will be sending out the information about Beyond Carnivore. Love you guys. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the group. There is always so much beauty in being transparent and in really recognizing that we're all not alone on this journey. And so if you want to, feel free to join the Saturday support groups. They're every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you need more individualized care, then reach out to me and email me at innerclaritysystem@gmail.com. And I would love to walk through and show you what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. All right.